Hmm? Yes. But yeah, it's best comparing to yeah, best. Hmm. No, no, I don't know that one actually. It's okay. So listen, guys. Today we'll discuss the complete OOPS concepts. Okay. So actually, the backup class today, basically. Okay. So basically, ma'am, the Python is completely depends on OOPS. So the most of the programming languages depends on OOPS only. I mean, depends on OOPS only can implement the code. So basically, OOPS stands for Object Oriented Programming System. So OOPS stands for Object Oriented Programming System. So basically, in OOPS concept, OOPS methods, you're providing some phases or some principles in the method. Okay. In that, the first thing is here classes, classes and objects, class and objects. So basically, the classes and objects is nothing but you guys know what is object. Object means collection, collection of keys and values. Okay. So basically, the object means collection of keys and values is called as object right now. So basically, class is nothing but the collection of functions. What is function? Function means group of statements. A collection of statements is called a function. Collection of functions or collection of objects is called as a class. Clear, ma? For example, for example, India is a country. So in India, there are so many states are there. AP, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, so many states. So what are the states are there? That is called as the object. The India is a class. Clear. So the states comes under class. So class means collection of objects. Collection of states is called as one country. Right? Same way, collection of objects is called as one class. Clear, ma? It's a very important thing basically. This one principle is there. And then inheritance. Inheritance is there, ma? And then polymorphism. Polymorphism. And then data abstraction, of course, encapsulation. These are all the principle of OOPS concepts, encapsulation. Okay, so the OOPS is a very, very important thing. It's a very big course basically. Today we'll discuss only 1 hour on our fourth session. But only the OOPS course, it comes maximum 6 months. It's a very big course basically. But now we are not discussing complete thing. So as a web developer, what are the things we require? That we'll discuss more. Okay. So basically, guys, the first we will discuss classes and objects. Okay. So class is nothing but collection of objects is called as one class. Okay. So basically, guys, we'll see the basic syntax for class. The class is a keyword, function, how def keyword is there. Same way, the class is a keyword. So, and then class name should be mentioned here for the class name. And then semicolon. So within inside the class, you can pass here collection of objects. Object is nothing but functions. Collection of functions you can create inside the class. Clear? Clear, ma? So before moving to the coding part, so we have to learn some terms, guys, here. What is a constructor? Of course, init. So basically, the constructor is nothing but it's a function. It is a function. It is used to define instance. Instance means n number, many, infinity. Instance of objects. Object means key value, key value. Like for example, name, Vijay, email, some more email, mobile, some mobile number. That is the use of constructor function now. So constructor is used to define instance of objects. Okay. So in Python, the constructor function you can declare using double underscore init. So this is called as constructor function. This init function represents constructor. Whenever using this init, I mean whenever using the classes means the first parameter every function. The first parameter self should be passed here. Self is used to access the keys. I mean the objects. So if you want to access a specific object key, mean there should be use here self. One more thing is, so whenever in the class method, I mean the classes means in every function the first parameter self is must and should be how to keep it here. Clear, ma? So now we'll see, guys. So I will just create one class, basic class, one class. Okay, the class name, for example, main is a class name, semicolon. Okay, so just comment this thing here. Okay, class name is main. Okay, ma. So inside this class, I will just give them print statement, print of. So for example, this is my class. This is my class. You know, every function, the calling function is mandatory. As usual, same way, every class we have to create an object. Object means the calling function. So the class name is your main. So the main we should be called over here. For example, main is a calling function. Now this is our object. Object. See, now just run this code because I'll just use your Visual Studio Code. You can use Ideal also. It is same thing only. Okay. So I will just run this code. Now we'll see here. Okay, the C driver. Okay, I will just cut this one. I mean copy. I'll just open Ideal. Okay, now we'll see here. Here I given one class. The class name is main. I simply just pass you basic print statement. This is my class. The statement actually. And finally, I call the class name is main. Okay, now we can run module. What happens, ma? The specific class will be triggered. Right, guys? So now inside this class, inside the main class, I will just going to create one constructor function. So constructor function means def is a function keyword. Function name should be init, double underscore init, again double underscore, parenthesis. The first parameter is self is must and should, semicolon. So and here I'll just going to pass one print statement basic. For example, this is a constructor function. One basic function I'll just going to pass here. So, you know, every function calling function is mandatory, right, ma? But this is a constructor function. So whenever we are calling the object, whenever the object is triggered, automatically the constructor function also trigger. This is not normal function. Suppose if I'm just calling here A is a function name. Now we can run the code. What happens? You can see only this is my class. That statement only trigger, right, ma? The constructor, I mean, the basic function is not triggered, right? Suppose if I'll just going to pass here init, it means constructor. So constructor function means we'll see what happens here. The both trigger, right, ma? It means whenever is the constructor function, it means so automatically trigger whenever executing the object. If the class is triggered means automatically constructor function also will execute it. Clear, ma? If suppose I will just create a normal function, one more function. The function name is data. Every function, the self keyword is mandatory. Semicolon. So print For example, first function, something. Now we can run module. Nothing will happen. Why? Because there is not constructor function. It's a normal function. If it is normal means it should be called. If it is constructor means no need to call the one. Constructor means whenever the object is triggered, automatically the constructor function also will execute. Clear? Then how to execute this one? Now this is our main. Like similar to the India. Within that one state, there are two states. The combination of two states is called as class. The main, of course, main. Clear, ma? So now this is an object, right, ma? This is an object. These two objects were declared inside this class. Name is main. So how you can access this data here? Object dot function name. Object means is an object right now. So I'll just give you a variable name obj. Is a variable name. You can keep anything. So now this obj dot data is a calling function. This function should be called over there. That's enough, guys. Now this function also will execute, will trigger. You see now. This is how the constructor function will work, ma. I hope you guys understood what is a init. Init means constructor. So if it is constructor function means automatically trigger whenever the object will be executed. Normal function means it should be called. Have any questions, ma? Anybody? Sure. That's good. So I'll see we created a constructor function and this is the normal function, right, ma? Data is normal function. So this is called as method. This is a constructor function. So method is nothing but one function. So in the constructor function, I will just pass some of the parameters over here. For example, name and city. You can pass n number of parameters. I will just declare here two parameters. One is the name and city. Okay. So basically, you know what is a constructor? What is constructor? It's a function defined instance of objects. Object means key value is mandatory. Basically, so how to declare the keys and values over here? So key values means basically an object. For example, name colon Vijay. This is how we create an object. But in constructor function, directly you can't able to pass direct object here. You should be pass here indirect object. For that perspective, see here after this statement, self is a keyword. So using self keyword, you can declare one key dot a is equal to the first parameter is name. So the a is our key. A basically a colon name. Object means a colon name. This is a key and value, right, ma? But if it is constructor means you can't able to declare direct object. You're passing here indirect object. So end of this code will convert as an object. Okay. So A is a key only. You can declare anything up to yours only. The next thing is city also one thing is that. So self dot B is equal to one more parameter means again self dot C is equal to some parameter. Clear now. So now these parameters where it is there exactly. Self dot A is equal to name parameter. Self dot B is equal to city. So you know these keys I have to access right now. For that perspective, we have to use a method now. One method. So we already used here same thing. I'll just going to use print one more printer statement. For example, name colon is the reference, and then comma self dot a. In that place, we should be passed on argument later. Comma. So you know what is a backslash n? It creates one break. Next row, and comma again one reference that is nothing but city, comma self dot b. That's enough, right, ma? So I will see in the constructor function, we have two parameters. These two arguments where we have to pass. How this constructor function will work when it will executing. So whenever the object is triggered, the main will be triggered automatically. This constructor function also executing. For that purpose, here you can pass the arguments in the object only. The first argument is name, for example, Vijay, city, for example, Bangalore. That's enough, right, ma? Now you can run your code, run module. You'll see what happened here. Name is Vijay, city, Bangalore. So this is how you can pass the parameters and arguments. Is it clear? Have any questions, ma? So you'll see for one, as of now, we created one object. For single class, you can create multiple objects also. Multiple objects. For example, one more object I'll just create here, obj1, for example. obj1 is equal to main is a calling function. So I'll just pass some different arguments right now. Saag and Chennai, for example, and obj1 dot data function, calling function. Now we can run this code, run module. You'll see now. So this is our first object actually. First object. This is our second object. If you want to see the difference means, I will just keep it here. One print as a string. Either I'll just pass some stars here. Okay, now we can run the code, man. We'll see. So this is one object. This is one object. Clear, guys? So like this, you can pass n number of objects also for single class. This is how the class will work. So basically, I hope you guys understood what is a constructor function, what is self keyword, and how to pass the parameters, arguments. Anybody having any questions, man? Sure. No doubts, huh? Divya, Hatish, you guys have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay.
Also, no doubts.
Okay. You guys, man? Anybody? Sure. That's good. So now, so where it is? Yeah. So this is how the classes and objects can declare. So basically, you can see here we given some of the keys, right? I mean the A, B, something here. That is called as instance variable. The A, B, I mean whatever the keys are. I mean, if you are declaring this like this means it's an object key, normal object key. But using self keyword, we declare on key. That key name is called as instance variable. The A and B is called as instance variable. So this is called as instance of object. Clear, ma? So here A and B is called as instance variable. So these two things is called as combination of self.a is equal to name, self.b is equal to city, means this is called as instance object. Instance object. Clear, guys? Satish? Clear, ma? That's good. Now coming to the inheritance method. It's a very important part basically, guys. So inheritance means, I hope you guys know what is callback method. Callback in Python, callback. What is callback, man? Callback. Without callback, how it is understood the decorators method? So callback, it's nothing but it is used to pass one function to another function. I mean, we have, for example, if you have three components, three functionalities are actually. So we have to call any of the one function, either first function or second function or third function. You have to call the calling function for only one function. Remaining two functions should be passed for that function. For example, callback A1 function is there, ma? A1 function, for example, B1 function, C, one function. There are three functions are there. So we are calling only C is a callback. I mean calling. Now which function executing here? Only C. A and B, nothing will happen. The A and B you can pass over here as an argument. This is called as callback method. Callback means pass one function to another function as an argument. That is called as callback method. But the inheritance means one class is derived in another class, of course child class, another class. So one class is derived in another class, that is called as inheritance. So in inheritance there are some types of inheritance present here, guys. The first thing is here, of course, single inheritance. What? Yeah, multi-level inheritance. Of course, multiple inheritance, and then hierarchical inheritance. So there are majorly the four types of inheritance are present here. The one by one we'll see what is single, what is multi-level, what is multiple, what is hierarchical. The basic, the core is one class is derived in another class. That is the basic core. Single inheritance means, suppose if you have only two classes is actually. The first class you can derive in second. One disadvantage is basically the inheritance the only support, only you can access parent class only, guys. You can't able to access child classes. I mean, within the child you can access parent. Within the parent you can't able to access child elements. Never. But in the callback it's applicable. The callback you can either call parent or child also applicable in the callback. But in inheritance you can access only parent class. The oops concept is only applicable for classes. Here you can't able to implement functions. Clear, guys? But in the callback only applicable for functions. There we can't able to implement classes. Clear? That's good. So single inheritance, it means one child class is there, either two or more parent calls. I mean, basically a single multi-level is same, no that much difference basically, So child to, I mean, this child class you have to derive in parent. So here we are calling only the parent. Parent is the object. You know, we have two classes or functions. One is a child, and one more thing is a parent. If we are calling is a parent is a callback, I mean object. So which component triggered, right? Parent. Child, nothing will happen. So in that case, the child also we have to execute. So whenever calling the parent, that is called as single inheritance. So we have to trigger the parent component only. We have to call only the parent. At the same time, we have to execute the child also. It is called as single inheritance. Single inheritance. For example, see one example discussed now. For example, guys, I will just create a class, normal class. The class name, for example, parent is the class name. Parent. Normal function I will declare, not constructor. Normal function. First, we'll discuss the basic example. The class name, for example, data. The first key of self is mandatory. So I will just pass a printer statement. This is a parent function. One class is there, So and I will just one more class. This class name, for example, child. So one more function. The function name anything up to yours only. For example, data one is a function name. So self keyword is mandatory. So this is, I mean, a print statement. Of course, this is child function. There are two functions are there now. So now let me know, guys. So as an object, I will just call here child component. Only child I'm just calling here, right? So now what happens here? If anything print in console now, we have to call that the function, the method we have to call here. Suppose I will just print second class. So here I'll just going to pass here print on statement, print of, this is for example first class. Now let me know. So whenever we are calling this child as an object, it means, so which statement will trigger? This is our second class. What happened? Parent is not defined. It's okay. So now we'll see here, we declared two classes, one is a parent and a child. So inheritance basically it means one class is derived in another class, but it can derive only the parent class in child. You can't able to derive child in parent. So how to derive over here means, so as a parent is simply you can pass the component name is parent. Now we can run this code where it is last parent. Okay, we'll just change over here. So now we can run. Parent is not defined. Where we call the parent?
The record spelling is incorrect.
Okay. Declare there, right?
Yes, record.
Now we'll see here. It triggered first class and second class, but not the method. The method not triggered actually. Only the classes exist basically. The basic object is triggered. So whenever the object is calling a child, so child statement also triggered, as well the parent statement also triggered. But the function not nothing will happen. In that case, what exactly we do, ma? So object dot data one function and object dot data also you can call here. Why? Because we already derived here. So within this child, as of now, the parent class also is there. So using these objects, you can access this data. This is called as single inheritance mark. Now we can run this code. You see what happens here? Everything, first class, second class. This is a child function. This is parent function. Everything is triggered. This is called as single inheritance. It means one class is derived in another class. I mean, we have only two classes. One is parent, one is child. Parent is derived in child. This is called as single inheritance. Multiple inheritance means multi-level means basically more than one child. I mean, one parent, more than one parent. N number of parent elements actually. Finally, we have one child element. For example, parent one. Again, one more parent one is there. One more parent element. Again, n number of parent elements. More than one parent elements one. And finally, we have one child. Or else this is the. I will just keep it here. Child element. This is, for example, nth child. So basically, guys, this is parent. I mean, according to this child, these are parent. According to this one, these are parent. Of course, these are the parent. Right, ma'am? So according to this nth child class, these two things are parent elements. So according to this child, parent one is a parent element. Right, guys? These one you can derive over here. This component you can derive over here. I mean the life cycle, the chain parent. I mean the first parent you can derive in the child. This component you can derive over here. Next one, next. So this chain is called as multi-level inheritance. Multi-level. For example, guys, the parent we are derived over here. I will just create one more child component. For example, class. The class name, for example, n child is a class name. So here, which one we have derived? Child we have to derive here. Child. So then I will just create a normal function. The function name, for example, data2. So self keyword. Then print of print of this is nth child function. Now let me know which is our object. Which is our object, ma? Object is our nth child. So I'll just pass it nth child. So now using this nth child, you can access this component and this function, and even this is also you can access. Right, guys? Now you can see I will just call obj dot data to run. You see, first class, second class, child function, parent function, even nth child function also triggered. This is called as multi-level inheritance. Multi-level means one to one. It's a life cycle, like on chain. Clear, guys? Have any questions up to here? Anybody? You guys? Sure. That's good. Now, coming to the multiple. Multiple means basically two parent, only one child is actually. The both parent elements you can derive in single class. Multiple means, see, multiple. It's a very important question. Multi-level is different, multiple is different. Multi-level means in single class you can derive only one class. That is called as multi-level. Multiple means in single class you can derive more than one class, more than one parent class. That is called as multiple inheritance. See, we have two or more parent elements now. Only one child actually. So within this child, you have to derive the both parent elements. That is called as multiple inheritance. Suppose so this one parent element is there. This name also I will just change here as a parent one. So we have two parents right now. These two parents do not derive over here. We have two parent elements. The two parents we should be derived inside this nth child. In that case, what we need here, ma? First I'll derive here parent, comma. This is called as multiple. Multiple, ma. So now remaining on the same, guys. Remaining on the same. See, nth child is the our object. Using the nth child, you can access data 1, data 2 also you can access. Now we can run. Same thing will happen here. Clear, ma? So like this, you can call n number of classes. You can derive in single class. That is called as multiple inheritance, ma. Very important question, guys. I hope it's clear. And finally, hierarchical. Hierarchical is nothing but one parent, two child is actually two child. This parent you can derive over here also. This parent you can derive in nth child also, right, ma? This is called as hierarchical. Hierarchical basically. For example, parent. These I will just change. This is a child. So we have two child right now. One parent is there, ma. This parent component you can derive here also. Here, the same parent component you can derive in nth child also. Now, which is our object? Child and nth child also object. So using these objects, you can access data 1 and data. You can't able to access data 2. Using these objects, you can access data and data 2. That is a hierarchical inheritance, ma. So for example, now I use a nth child. Nth child means you can access data 2 component and then data. So here we can't able to access these data. I mean data 1 you can't able to access. I can run. It is fine. You'll see. We're getting error because the nth child object no attribute of data 1 because that one we didn't inherit here. You see, in nth child we inheriting only the parent. Parent means this one. So here you can access data function and data 2 only you can access. Data 1 you can't able to access. So now if I'll just comment this data 1, now we can run. It will trigger. It will execute. You see. Suppose I will just keep my object as a child. So now what are the objects you can access? What are the methods you can access? Right? Data, There two you can't able to access. Remaining things you can access. Right, ma? Run. Clear, guys? So this is how the inheritance will works, ma, basically. I hope it's clear. Anybody have any questions, ma? Sure, huh? What is inheritance? First of all, one class is derived in another class. That is called as inheritance. There are some types. Single. Single means parent to child you can pass. Multi-level means parent to child, child to end child, one by one, life cycle. Multiple means in single class you can derive more than one class. That is called as multiple inheritance. Hierarchical means two child, more than two also, no issues. That is called hierarchical inheritance. This is fine. And in inheritance, we are using here one super one keyword basically. It's a very important thing. Super and keyword is there. It's a function. So what is the use of super? Parameters. So the properties. So the super keyword is used to access parent parameters. Parent parameters in child. That is the use of super keyword. For example, guys, for example, on parent, I will just comment nth child. I don't want right now. We'll just comment this. So only one parent and one child component is there. So two components is actually. Okay. So suppose here I will just create one constructor function. So and self keyword also mandatory, right? Ma? Self. And then so I will just pass on print statement. This is constructor function. I just created one basic constructor function. Clear? And in child component, I derived in the parent, the parent class I derived over here. And now which is the object now? Which is the object, ma? Child is the object, right, guys? So child I was called and data one is there. Data one I am accessing. Data two also I just accessing you. Run this code. What happened? You can see. So this is a constructor function. This is a child function. This is a parent function. Everything is triggered properly. There is no any issue right now. That was fine. Now suppose here I will just going to pass some of the parameters. For example, a comma b, two parameters. So we have to create an instance object. So self dot a is equal to a, self dot b is equal to b. So then using one method, I will just pass here a plus b. A plus b are just given here. So now for this, where we have to come, now we can run. Now we can for this function where we have to pass the arguments because the parent we derived over here, right, ma? The parent we derived in child. So if you want to access the parent parameters in child component, there should be used here super keyword, ma. So there, as usual, whatever is there, same constructor function, just copy and paste here first of all. Then super is a keyword dot. So init underscore so a comma b. So now the arguments you can pass in the child, it automatically applying in the parent. Now we'll see. I will just going to pass here 2 comma 3. Run this code, run model. What happened? You can see here a is not defined. A plus b we given. So a not it is a not a plus b. Self dot a plus self dot b. Okay. Now we can run. Got it, ma? That is the use of super keyword, guys. Super keyword is used to access the parent parameters. So we'll see if you're not using this super keyword means how you can access parameters, ma? You can't able to access, right? That is a use of super keyword, ma. It's a very important thing. What is the use of super keyword in inheritance method? It means it is used to access parent parameters in child component. Clear? That's good. So inheritance method is clear. Everybody. Sure? Huh? That's good. Now the next method is a polymorphism thing. Okay, listen, man. So basically, guys, the polymorphism is nothing but poly. It means many, infinity, number of many, and morphism is equal to, of course, forms. So many forms is called as polymorphism. Many forms. What is the many forms? Basically, guys, for example, one real-time example, good example. You know, human beings. So persons, humans, same person, same persons can do different work, different behavior. So as of now, you guys are sitting in the classroom, listen to the class. Next 1 hour, you're doing some different work, different behavior. Next 1 hour, different behavior. So polymorphism means same object. Object is same, but the behavior is different. That is called as polymorphism. Clear, ma? So basically in polymorphism, we have two methods basically. Huh? What? Sorry? Runtime. Yeah, that is runtime and compile time. So that is called as a method. Yeah, overloading and then overriding. Good. Method overloading and method overriding. There are two methods are present in polymorphism. So first of all, you have to understand what is polymorphism. So polymorphism means many shapes, many forms, same structure, same object, but behavior is different. That is called as polymorphism. So method overloading means nothing but, guys, here basically some steps you have to follow. The first step is method overloading means same class. We have one class actually. Only one class is actually. There are one class, number of methods, same methods. The method name also same. Mean, for example, like this. So we are declared data one, right? Like that same data one, n number of times is actually n number of times. There it is. Same methods, plus, but different parameters. That is called like that is a basic rule of overloading. Overloading. For example, guys, we'll see a basic example. I'll just explain now. One class. Class name, for example, main is a class name. Main is a class name. So on def, component name is, for example, data. So self keyword. So I'll just pass on print statement here. Print of this is a first function. And same one more method. Method name is data only. So now we'll see one more cell. Print the statement. Print of this is second function. So now which one is loading here? Of course, so by defaultly it takes the last one. In the second component only here. That is called as method of overloading basically. For example, Now I'll just call here the main component as an object. So I will just give variable name also obj is equal to main. Okay, so now obj dot data I'm just calling over here because the both functions names are same. So now we can run this code, run module. See, I'll get this is second function. This is second function. So by default it triggered second function only. That is called the method of overloading. Suppose guys, if I'll just pass two parameters a comma b, this is not constructor parameter. This is normal function parameters. So I will just pass one more print statement, print of a plus b. So here also I'll just pass a comma b comma c. Three parameters I'm going to pass. So print of a plus b plus a plus b plus c. So now if I am passing arguments over here 1 comma 2 comma, I'll just pass only two arguments. What happens right now? What is the output? It will trigger. It will work, huh? It will get error. Why? Because for latest we are passing here three parameters, but we're getting here only three. I mean two arguments right now. That's why we're getting one undefined error. You can see the value error. See, argument C is missing. So how to overcome this one? How to overcome this one, man? Okay, if you're passing one more element, what happens here? You get the output. Of course, you get the output 6. This is fine. So I'll just pass only two arguments. Even I have to execute this code. What means? You know what is the default argument? Default argument, right, ma? For C value, I will just pass default argument. Now it works. Now it works, ma. We'll see now. Run. Clear. Using this default argument to just achieve this overloading method. Why it's not suppose? Suppose. Yeah, it's so. I mean, what I'm trying to say, overloading is we have to pass different parameters here. Different parameters. That is a must and should, right, ma? If you keep only two parameters A and B, in that case it will be override, of course. But when you're passing different parameters, right? So I mean, we have to achieve the overloading means the third argument, extra one thing is there. You can pass a default argument. Isn't this default to just achieve overloading? Clear? Clear, guys? Okay. So next thing is finally overriding something is right. The overriding is nothing but it is also similar to the overloading, but here you can see overloading means different class, not for same class, different class. We have two classes actually. So and same method is same, but different classes, and even here different parameters. So parameters is different, method also different. Sorry, same method, but different classes. With above example, same class, same method, different parameters. It's the opposite thing. So different class, different parameters, method is same. Clear? For that perspective, I'll just get two classes. One class name, for example, parent is one class name. So normal function def one init I'll just declare here, I mean constructor function I'll just declare here init. So before this, a normal example will be data self print here print of parent function. One class is there. So then the class name is child. So then def same method, right, ma? Method name is here data. Same method should be used here. So self Still we didn't pass any parameters here. Okay. So print of this is child function. Now, as an object, I will just call it here child component, and obj dot data. I am just calling. Now, which one trigger? Only child function is triggered. So now my question is right now I have triggered these parent also. In that case, what we you can derive here inherit method. So I will just inherit that is a parent. Now it works right now. Run the module. Run. Only child function is triggered. So even now this function nothing will happen. Why? In that case, what we do? Because override. But my question is right now here. So same class name data. These are the data basically. So now the parent has been derived. Of course, derived. But now only this child function will trigger. Now my thing is right now I have to trigger both. What exactly we do? How to access the parent parameters using how to access parent parameters, man. Super keyword, right? Same keyword you can use over here, man. Super dot the function name is data. Now you can run this code. What happened? You can see. This is how you can achieve here, man. Suppose guys, suppose here I'll just pass two parameters to a comma b. Something any parameters you can pass it. C comma b something here actually. So and q plus b. Not required. These are not constructor functions. Normal function. So even here also I'll just pass two parameters. A b or three parameters I'm going to pass. See, first one we pass only 2. Second we pass here 3. So here I will just call A plus B plus C. So same parameters, whatever we're getting in parent, same Q comma. So you can pass the same thing A comma B. So I will just call here A comma B also here. So now I am just going to pass the argument 1 comma 2 comma 3. Run this code. What happened? You can see. Child takes no argument, so here you can these arguments not here, here you can run 1 comma 2 comma. So now we can run. Q is not very given Q A plus B. Now run module here. See the both it's triggered right now. See, even the above example, basically the above example also we pass 3 arguments over here, 3 parameters, 2 parameters, but it invokes only the second one. But here you can see the both is triggered right now. To see how you can handle the polymorphism methods. Right? It's a very important thing. Have any questions? No more questions, huh? Sure. Guys, and Divya, Satish, you have any doubts, ma?
No, sir.
Satish, you are in?
Sir.
Okay. So just overview of again one time the OOPS concepts, ma. What is classes? Collection of objects is called as a class, of course. So what is the instance variable? Yeah, A is an instance variable basically. Using self keyword to we have declared one key. That key is called as instance variable. What is inheritance, ma? One class building another class. What is hierarchical inheritance? Hierarchical. One parent, 2 child. The parent can pass in 2 child class. That is called as a hierarchical. And what is a multiple? What is multi-level? Of course, 1 child, 2 parent. I mean, in single class, you can derive more than 1 class. That is called as multiple inheritance. Multi-level means in single class, you can get only one class. That is called as multi-level, one by one. Single means two classes. Multi-level, single, the both are same one. Multi-level means multiple, more than two. Single means only two. That is the only difference basically. And what is polymorphism? Many forms. Yeah, one object behavior is different. You can see object is same object, is same object, but behavior you can see this behavior is different. This behavior is, for example, 3. This behavior is 6. Same object, but the behavior is different. The work is different. This object work is different. This object work is different, right? That is a polymorphism method, with overriding and overloading. Runtime and compile. Clear, guys? And remaining data abstraction method is there actually. That is also we'll discuss. So data abstraction, data hiding, of course, same. This object, right, this object. So we have to show to the users only the function object we have to show. Only this one we have to show the users. Remaining what are the functions we are implementing here, these things we have to hide it. How we can implement this code? I didn't understand. Axis modifiers. Private, public. So how we can do? The only we have to show the users the objects part. These things only. Only these 2 lines we have to show the users. For example, ATM machine. ATM machine, right? We have one machine actually. So whenever we entered the 4-digit ATM pin means we get the money, right? The backend process we can't able to see. That is a data abstraction basically. In every application also the backend process we can't able to see. Right? Only you can show the functionality. In WhatsApp also you can see only UI part, user interface. But the backend work we can't see. That is called as data abstraction. So these 2 functions we'll discuss later. Data abstraction, encapsulation discuss. Don't confuse this one. Today what we discuss? Majorly inheritance, types, and polymorphism. It's a very, very important thing. What is classes, objects, what is super keyword, what is init. So these things we cover today. Anybody have any questions? No more questions, huh? Sure. That's good. Okay, Divya, Satish, any other questions, ma?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. No questions.
That's all my end, guys. See you on Monday, okay?
Okay, sir.